and I wasn't supposed to be on it anyway because I had flip flops on, but it lost control and flipped. And I took my seatbelt off. I turned it off. I got up and I had realized that I broke my ulna, my radius, and I severed my main artery. So my arm was practically dangling. Um, and I had to walk a half a mile, bleeding out, and I blacked out. I felt like something had lifted me. Um, Everything went black. And after a while, I guess, of walking unconsciously, whatever happened, I came back to reality and I was closer to my uncle and I got his attention. He came over and he helped me, but he came, he came to me and it's like he was trying to talk to me over the machine. He couldn't hear me. And he was like it was like he knew what to do. He came over, he put a tourniquet on me, and he got me to the hospital. All this, just insane stuff was happening. But there were these feathers that my mom said were following me. She said there were feathers in the hospital, there were feathers at the scene, there were all these feathers that were, communicating. And I ended up getting a feather tattoo because I felt like it was my grandma. I felt like my grandma lifted me in that time. When she was living, she was very in tune, and she did a lot with like agriculture. This is my mom's mom. She did a lot with just agricultural land stuff. She did stuff with grants. She was very gifted. She was an artist. She did painting. Um, she was very, very in tune. And like she even became she even became a mother of like this black church. Um, and she was like the only white person in there. And my mom said that she became that for me to support me.
Mhm.
Um, so I was in that church and stuff. And so just to sum it up, I had ended up getting this tattoo to symbolize for my grandma. And then, as I just started doing more digging with spirituality work and stuff, I just saw the connection with the feather and chiefs. And I was just like, oh, maybe I was a chief. I don't know. I don't
Okay,
know.
so let me
I don't
first. I
know.
gotta tell
I
you
don't
this
know.
part. Um, was your mother's mother living when you was born?
She was.
How old was you when she crossed over?
She passed away in 2009. Um, I was I was like 11. That's my life path number.
11 mean initiate. When you had children, your grandmama coming back to you.
She she d- she did. She did through my daughter. My I have my daughter Nova. I have two daughters. My second daughter, her due date was on my grandmother's birthday.
Yeah, that's how they notify you. The
Yeah, that's
reason
what
why
and I felt
now
that. I felt that.
you knew it before I said something, but here's the thing that you probably didn't pay attention to. When your mother was forming in your grandmama womb,
Hmm.
you was in there as an egg. Let that sink in. That means that
Yeah.
from the mitochondrial bloodline, you have direct access to your grandmama, just like you got access to your mama.
That makes a lot of sense. I feel like she's the one who's been communicating to me while I've been in my mom's house.
Hmm. So when she want to come back, she's gonna pick the one you gonna know, because she probably was more standoff with you than you wanted her to be, because she felt like she would show you favoritism if she gave you too much attention. So she was trying to make the rest of the grandbabies not know that you the one she loved the most.
She did it in private. She did it in private. We always had that connection, but I didn't have like that many pictures with her.
Hmm. Well, take a lot of them with your babies, cause she back.
I felt that. I felt that, and the second I found out my child's due date, I was like, wow. And then I was moving back into my mom's house, and I was like, which was my grandmother's house.
Hmm. How did you find out that that was your grandmother's house?
Because my grandma she lived in this house prior to her passing away. She passed away in this house.
Oh, okay, got you, got you. Oh yeah, that means that you are absolutely the heir she picked.
Yeah, I I started realizing that, but my mom, she's like really big on like saying that she doesn't want to give me this house, but I'm the one who takes care of the house.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Just keep taking care of it. She had to tell you that so that you will feel like you always working for something. So
Yes.
you won't be so quick to give it up when you finally get it.
Oh man.
Yeah, you ain't no your mama ain't no goddamn European. She doing too much tribal shit from this land that's cultural that's not popularly known except for people that's been in the culture that know
Yeah.
our culture. She doing that shit out of automatic responses to stuff.
Hmm.
It's natural. That means she's naturally supposed to be here. That's why she ended up coming back from wherever she was to back to there because she had to be on a certain part of the land when your grandmama come back through you because she wanted to be on her land in her house.
Right.
That's
Right.
that's that's some fucking ancestral communications if I ever seen it.
If you were to like see this house, um, there's so many like symbols and patterns and murals, and there's so much. And even
Those
my
are
fiance,
stories. Once you tune in to your big for your granny, you gonna know what all that stuff mean, and you ain't gonna know how the hell you know.
that's as far as I've gotten and how deep I've gotten with all of this stuff. I feel like that now.
Yeah. The,
I feel
the
like that
painting.
now.
Look, don't get scared when the paintings start coming to life for you. That shit
It
spooked the
already
shit out of me.
has.
That shit spooked the shit out of me when that shit started happening.
It
You
already
see them looking at
has.
a steel painting, and it's then the people in it start moving around. That's some spooky shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
And my fiance.
don't let it scare you because if you don't scare you, you just start asking yourself what do this mean, and then you'll start over time you'll start automatically translating the meaning of the activity that you're viewing, the what they call psychic phenomenon. You have to make yourself translate it, or else you won't never translate it. You just keep having spooky experiences with an open-ended meaning. But as soon as
Mhm.
you start asking yourself, what do this mean? What do this mean? Answers start coming to you and all
That's
that stuff clears up.
that's exactly what happened. Whenever I DM'd you and you pointed me back to myself, all of a sudden I'm like, okay, well, dang, well, what now? And then I started asking questions, and then all of a sudden the whole house started talking. And
Mhm.
it came from going outside, grounding, and eating from the pear trees on the property. The pear trees, they started communicating to me, and I was like, oh snap, these trees are telling me to take care of them. And because there nobody takes care of them, and they've been there forever, and they're self-sustainable, like nobody does anything, they grow every year, and they're so fruitful. Like this past season, the pear trees, they were like, um they were telling me to come and pick from certain trees. Like they were just dropping from the tree. And I'm like, oh wow, this is very, very interesting. You're telling me to come pick you. And I was like, wow, okay. So like, just being here, the pear trees, and not only just the pear trees, but there's a lot of oaks on this land. And those trees, they've been here forever, and they're always talking.
Listen, I, I went down to Florida for Empress coronation, and I stopped in Orlando to see Arisha Stone. Right, me and Arisha Stone go to this park. He say, come on, let's go show honors to the old ancestor tree right here." So I walk up to the tree. I put my hands on the tree, and then I hear the tree say, I know you ain't gonna stand there and not take your shoes off. You know I can't tell you what I need to tell you if you don't take your shoes off. So I started laughing. He said, "What you laughing at?" I said, "Damn, tree told me to take my shoes off." So I took my shoes
Okay.
off. I stood up. I stood on the roots of the tree, right? And he started showing me shit. He say, I'm an old guy. I've been around a while. I've seen some stuff. So I'm sitting there, I'm letting the tree talk to me, and I'm thinking, I like, if I try to tell anybody this, they think I need some fucking Prozac or some fucking Thorazine or something. So the tree telling me I got a message I need to send back to the trees up there by you because I ain't been able to communicate with them in a while. I said, okay. So I go put my hands on the tree, and the tree talking to me. So the tree tell me, he said, you know what, y'all humans are really funny. And I'm like, what you mean? He said, they be laying up under the tree having sex like I can't see them. He didn't say having sex. He said fucking. He said the human be laying up under the tree. They be getting it in. They be fucking and everything, doing all kind of depraved acts of sex, and they think I can't see him. And he just bust out laughing. Oh, Hardy, George Burns laugh, right? Old man laugh. And so I'm tripping, man. Then we got ready to leave. The uh, the lady, the girl was out there with us. She asked me how old the tree was. I'm like, I don't know how old that tree is. You got to be at least 100 and some years old. The tree say, I'm not 100 and some years old. I'm 150 rings.
Yo, that tree said, "Don't walk up in my house with your shoes on."
Yeah. He said, he said, I'm 150 rings. We don't count our age in years. We count our age in rings. I'm like, man,
Rings.
look,
Wow.
that tree had me dying laughing. The thing now is, how are they going to do what they call international exchange of currency
Mhm.
if everybody's back to it's a one-to-one value everywhere you go? So they're trying to look at the stability of the economy so that when they set exchange rate, it should come out in the end a fair exchange,
Yeah.
equivalent exchange, not a superior or inferior.
Yeah, because $1 of US is about right now it's like 5.6 reais in Brazil. Yeah. So they're
It,
trying to
that
even,
mean
yeah.
that mean their dollar is effed up.
Oh, it is. Like it's wonderful when you're here, but it's really terrible for them. It's not fair. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. So let's kind of turn the topic of discussion to what's happening. Did you I don't watch Super Bowls, monkey balls, you know what I mean? Balls of mass destruction. Everybody wanted to watch the Super Bowls, but Kendrick Lamar did
Mhm.
a performance, and I usually don't watch it the night of the Super Bowl because I don't want to get entranced by the socially engineered mind control programming. But I did get a chance to watch with the Zombies last night, or today rather, and I found it really fascinating. The things that he did during the Super Bowl, the imagery of the PlayStation with the X, and I'm going to ask you some questions because we came upon something like 4 a.m. with the Zombies. He had the X, the triangle, and the O. He had the PlayStation, because this is the game of the Matrix. He had Poor Soul, you know what I mean? Looking like a man, bleached skin. Did you not know that bleaching should be illegal? Come on now. Like Mr. Serena, I don't know if her ball. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Rod. Let me pull back. Let me pull back. Okay, I'm gonna behave myself. Okay. Okay, let's go to the performance. What do you think about the performance, Rod? Like, I thought it was really ritualistic. The words he was saying. I mean, I'm a big hip hop fan, but his verbiage was powerful. But there was some mind control programming in there. Can I get a little bit of a breakdown of what you perceive that ritualistic performance was
Well,
about?
first thing I gotta tell you is I didn't watch it. See, I still haven't watched it.
See, you're like me. Yeah, I didn't watch
I
it.
still haven't watched it.
Yeah.
The second thing is that the code didn't come out in the outcome of the game. It came out in the outcome of the performance.
What do you
We
mean?
was expecting the Chiefs to win.
I wasn't, because I didn't expect them to win, because we found out that the Eagles was the year it was founded, the Eagles is a snake, and that the Hawks were a pig, and it's the enemy year of the pig. So I kind of presume that a snake team would win. So Philly, we kind of discussed it before it happened, so I assume Philly might win.
Yeah, well, most of us because we've been watching the Chiefs, right? I was hoping that this would be the years for the Lions finally, but it turned out when they was once they was done because they represent the Kings of the North.
Oh, okay.
right? The lion symbolism is the king,
Hmm.
right? The bear symbolism is the nomad. You know, you know, you don't F with them people over there. Stand out here in the woods by itself. The symbolism for the eagle is also the symbolism of a high chief.
Yes.
My conflict came in is when I was looking at chiefs on both sides of the game,
Oh, okay. Yeah, because they're both
right? So,
chiefs. Yeah,
and the obvious thing is to go with the one that actually called them chiefs in the name, but we didn't call them chiefs. That's an exonym.
that's what they call them. That's not an
Every,
intern.
right. So our tribes, for their tribal leader, had a different term that represent their leader.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like for instance, in the Washita, theirs was called Miku,
Mm.
right? And sometimes they name is enough to designate who they are because everybody in the tribe know them. And then they would, like, for instance, we use the term Sonny. Sonny is he born to be a chief, especially if he wasn't born named Sonny and he picked that name up. Everybody started calling him Sonny,
Yeah,
Sonny Boy, Son.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He's
he was
imbuing
born to
that
be a chief.
energy. Yeah,
He was.
he's imbuing that energy. Yeah,
Yeah. Now you got to do is look his birth date up and check the stellar alignments, and you will know what type of chief he is, what
that's
he
right.
came to do,
That's right.
what they call
Mhm.
your astrological chart. So the
Mhm.
astronomy and astrology go together in order to read the numbers on the ground,
Absolutely. I found it really
right?
interesting like, with the game was symbolic, but I want you to see it. I'm gonna wait until you get a chance to see it so we can.
Let's do a little background on Kendrick. You see him standing on his car,
The
right?
what? The what?
The standing on the car. The car was the name of the album was the same name as the car.
Okay.
He used that car. I think that was his first car.
Okay.
Okay, now we had to go back to at what point do we know Kendrick is one of the Chiefs? If
Well,
you go back
mm,
about 2020, not long after Kobe artificial crash, um, not long after that, Kendrick had a big LA concert and he invited the OG from every set in California all up and down into Arizona. He invited them personally, like he had his team calling them up, who your OG, and sent some of them even sent them the tickets.
I had chills when you said that.
When they all get there, every one of the top tier California rappers
Hmm.
came and they spoke on Kendrick's behalf and passed him the torch.
Mm.
That was a big event that 99.5% of us over here missed. We didn't know what we was looking at. That was
Mhm.
an actual coronation of a chief to unify a whole tribal um, network, a network of tribes
Mhm.
that had been warring against each other, never knowing that the only reason they was warring against each other is the enemy turned them against each other through
Mhm.
infiltration.
Coot him out. Yeah, coot him out.
Right.
Yeah.
So when they find out what was going on and how the infiltration was working, they knew who the stand-up OGs was and they knew who the frauds was. And this is how they know how to tell the youngsters, the soldiers, how to move, right? And
Mhm.
back then, I had got a knock from the OGs out there said, what's the smartest thing we can do out here to destabilize the enemy? I said, hit him in the pockets.
Every time. Every
Hit him
time.
in the pocket.
That's the
Don't hit
currency.
him in the head. Don't kill nobody. Hit him
The
in the
currency is their
pockets.
currency. Yeah.
Look, after Wall Street crashed in 1929, they was jumping out of windows. Hit them
Oh,
in the pockets,
absolutely. 80s too. 80s too.
right? Exploit the law and hit them in the pocket. So what they do? They would have what they call store runs. 1,000 people run hit Nordstrom. Boom. 1,000 people hit the jewelry store. Boom. It's too many people that the local security is overwhelmed and the police don't got time to get there and enough masks before they get out. Hit the freights. All of it was going on. I was reporting on it in real time because I was pointing to the weaknesses in their system. They can exploit one or two of us, but when we make moves as a collective, there's
Yes,
nothing they can do but stand down.
absolutely.
So I think it was San Francisco mayor issued an order to the police that if they see a mass action movement, don't engage.
I remember that.
If
Yeah.
they go in the store and take the whole store, don't engage, let them have it. Ain't nothing we can do about it.
I didn't understand that because they were saying, like, I didn't understand why they were letting that happen.
Right. They was letting it happen for two reasons. Insurance gonna pay the store owner. He not gonna lose.
That's right. That's right. They're
The
coming.
second reason is if we moving in that much of a mass, they scared we got the troops waiting in the background.
Oh,
They
wow.
too organized. You can't organize 1,000 niggas to do nothing together like that unless they know they're finna defeat their enemy. They already is aware of that. They was aware of it before it happened.
But why? Let me ask you a question. There was like a lunar white couple, a
Mhm.
woman that supposedly was heading the like contracting young brown children to go and rob these stores. You think that was a cover story or trying to create a narrative that was to explain that what was happening so that no one knew what really was occurring?
She probably was doing it for real. You ever heard of the Weather Underground?